What's going on, everybody? So, everyone has been asking me, when are you doing your early 2025 Oscar predictions? And honestly, my brain just can't handle that right now. But that does not mean I'm not researching. I'm not scouring the internet to see which movie or performance is going to break my heart at next year's Oscars. I'm looking. So instead of just ranking my predictions, which I don't even really have at this point, at least numbered, I gathered up about 10 predictions or overall statements that I've seen forming about the 2025 Oscars, and I'm going to talk about it. Once again, these aren't really predictions. I'm going off the top of my head, no script, no outline, no nothing, and we'll see where that ends up. This might be awful. But let's address the first point here. Dune Part 2, same or more? This is an interesting one. Dune Part 2 is one of the few movies that we have seen that we know is good, that we know will be in the Oscar race next year. But the question with that is, will it get the same amount of nominations? Will it get more? Will it get less? How many will it win? For those who don't remember, the first Dune got 6 wins out of 10 nominations and was famously, snubbed for Best Director. I don't know what to do with this movie because on one hand, I have always sticking to myself that sequels, no matter if they're received better or not, they just tend to perform worse than the first one because the first one feels a little bit more new. And the second one, especially only a few years later, who knows how that can go. At the same time, some of this just feels undeniable. And this is going to be a theme throughout these Oscars here, is that this year is going to be really weird. Okay, it's going to be really weird. I don't know if a small movie is going to come out of nowhere. This kind of feels like a 2021 year because of how everything was impacted by the strikes. And especially with the announcement that Dune Part 3 or Dune Messiah, however you want to put it, and who knows how they're going to adapt that. Now that we know it is officially in the works, that also hurts this movie's chances as well. But are they really going to snub him for Best Director again? Again? In this year? In the year of our Lord, 2024? As of now, Dune Part 2 feels a little too undeniable to just cross it off certain categories. And I do think, as of now, they will rectify that snub in director, because how could you not? Steven Spielberg has talked about it. Christopher Nolan has obviously been a big champion of Denis Villeneuve and this movie in particular. So I guess if you ask me, I'm going to kind of put it same or more. I don't think this will get less for now. That can certainly change. Best Actress. Best Actress is usually like the best category in the Oscars, and this year there is no consensus forming, which is great. I've seen people put Saoirse Ronan at number 1 for The Outrun or Blitz, or just the combination of both, whichever. Mostly Blitz. I've seen Angelina Jolie for Maria. Pablo Larraín gets his actresses that nomination. He got it with Spencer, with Kristen Stewart. He got it with Jackie, with Natalie Portman. If anything, this feels like a nomination waiting to happen. I think people want this for Angelina Jolie as well. So that is very tempting. And I've seen Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn in Joker 2. Now, it certainly helps that we've seen the trailer for Joker 2, which we will get to in a minute, I promise. Saoirse Ronan, I just don't know, because The Outrun, everyone tells me this is Best Actress or bust. I don't love the sound of that, but that can also help propel her up in another performance with Blitz, which does feel more like an Oscar contender. So that one is intriguing as well. And then Angelina Jolie and Maria, as we've mentioned. And obviously, who knows who can come in at any moment with a movie I've never heard of or don't even know is happening. And that person or movie can just shoot up and win. Like I said, this is really early. Weirdly enough, I feel the best about Angelina Jolie. As I said, at the very least, this feels like I can safely assure that this will at least be a nomination this far out. Once again, who knows? But my confidence is in her right now. I am obviously very interested in what Lady Gaga does, but we'll see. Now, with that transition, let's talk about some sequels. And I say sequels with an asterisk because, yes, there's Joker 2, there's Gladiator 2, and there's Furiosa, which I know technically isn't a sequel, but let's face it, it's pretty much a sequel, just not. What? I know it's a prequel, but you know what I mean. It's coming after Mad Max Fury Road. Y'all are smart. And I know you can go some other sequels as well, but those are the main 3 I want to talk about here. I did see, obviously, the Joker trailer, and I'm in. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm in. At the very least, at least they are doing something different with it. Okay, I did a short on it. You may have seen that already, but I think it is hilarious that they said this billion-dollar phenom of a movie, Oscar winning, that led the nominations in the year 2019 with Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, Joker was the one that led nominations. Oscar-winning film, highest-grossing R-rated movie ever. I love that they saw all that and they said, we're going to turn the other way and let's do a musical now. Now, we can argue on how much of a musical is it really. I mean, who knows? I don't really care about that. Regardless, music is obviously a big influence on this movie. You can see it in the trailer. You can see that with the casting of Lady Gaga in general. And the trailer looks pretty good. I am a fan. I am a fan of that trailer. And it looks beautiful, honestly. I'm not someone who's like, oh my gosh, is that the best shot of all time? But it's still a cool shot. Like, let's face it, the cinematographer is amazing. The production design looks good. I think that is the biggest Oscar contender we have, all right? Let's go to Furiosa. Once again, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. After the first trailer where some people were like, oh, boo-boo CGI, I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't care. I was in. Second trailer, I'm still in. But that movie does have a hard task. Not dissimilar to Joker in a sense that Mad Max Fury Road really came, surprised, and just wowed everyone and then was rewarded like almost pretty much Dune, basically. This has a lot to live up to. I don't really see it for much above the line, but I still think it'll definitely be a player below the line. I'm very excited for that one. In Gladiator 2, which we got a lot of information on from CinemaCon, and a lot of people who were doubting this movie came away from that very happy and excited. Now, I know it is CinemaCon, okay? I don't think I saw one tweet of a movie on CinemaCon of someone being like, yeah, not excited for that one, looks bad. Everyone is just excited to be there. They're excited for these movies. They're obviously just showing trailers. It's rare that you get a movie there and everyone's like, yeah, that shit was ass. So I take everything there with a grain of salt. But the Gladiator 2 stuff just does really sound good to me. It sounds real juicy. And as someone who pretty much hated Napoleon, I can't quit Ridley Scott, okay? I wish I knew how to quit you. I can't, because he is very hit or miss. I like some of his movies. I really don't like some other ones. His track record as of late is very up and down. And yet, every single time he announces a new movie or I see a trailer, I'm like, I am kind of in. And with Gladiator 2, which the first one is my mom's favorite movie of all time, I also happen to really like that movie, even though it's been a while since I've seen it. I'm open to it. I am open to Gladiator 2 coming into my life and making it better, okay? Could it be a mess? Absolutely. But some of the shit I'm hearing of like him fighting monkeys and rhinos and fighting on boats in the water, in the Colosseum, I mean, like, come on now. Denzel Washington's in it, who I hear also has a very juicy role. Maybe I have to add him in the supporting actor mix. But the sequels are pretty exciting, so that's cool to see. 4, what is up with The Apprentice? So this is directed by Ali Abbasi, who made Border and Holy Spider, 2 movies I have not seen. I will rectify that. He's making a Donald Trump movie. Basically, when he was younger, Sebastian Stan is playing him. This is playing in competition at Cannes. And I don't know what to do with this movie. If this was directed by Adam McKay, I don't know how I would personally receive the movie, but if it was, I would chalk it up for like 8 nominations and like dust my hands and be like, okay, it's done. But with this one, I really don't know how to feel about it, at least in terms of Oscar players. I'm not someone who's like, oh my gosh, we don't need a movie on this, really. Like, I will watch it, okay? I am very interested in this movie and I'm pretty excited for it and I'm interested to hear the reception for it. My guess now is, do you remember how the first Joker was received? If people don't remember, the first Joker won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, which is absolutely fucking nuts when you look back on it. I think this will play well to international audiences and then it will come to the States and it will be a little bit more mixed. I guess if you make me choose, I guess I'm a believer in this movie in terms of its Oscar prospects, but this could also end up being on This Had Oscar Buzz. Can Sing Sing really win Best Picture? So I saw Sing Sing at TIFF last year. I was lucky enough to see it. Everyone told me it was great, so I moved my schedule around. I saw it, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great. Coleman Domingo in that movie is just fantastic. And I'm someone who did not like Rustin. I didn't like his performance in Rustin. Sing Sing, he fucking brings it. I am a little nervous that this is that small movie that everyone believes in at the beginning and then just kind of gets washed out as the year goes on, especially with a summer release date. We saw this similarly with Past Lives, with A24 as well. The one thing that this movie does have that something like Past Lives doesn't is obviously an acting nomination. nearly guaranteed. I would be shocked if Coleman Domingo doesn't happen. But also, as many people have pointed out, the ensemble of this movie not only is fantastic, but it'll make you feel good about rooting for and then in turn voting for. This is SAG ensemble waiting to happen. And Clarence Macklin, who is to me the supporting player, it is not Paul Raci, it is Clarence Macklin. He is amazing as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a nomination also. So if you're telling me this wins SAG ensemble, it has some nominations that feel pretty good. This is a good choice for number one in picture as of now. It's a good choice. Because as much as I love Dune Part 2 and I prefer Dune Part 2 to Sing Sing, what's compelling about voting for Dune Part 2 for Best Picture? You know, I don't really know. But Sing Sing, that'll make you feel good. That'll make you feel good to vote for. So I buy it. I don't blame people for putting it at number one. I would have to think about it. I might put that at number one when I eventually do these, but it's a good choice. What about Wicked? What to do with Wicked? So Wicked was also heavily showcased at CinemaCon. It was pretty much set up to be the big showstopper from Universal. I think it is funny that they are hiding the part one of it all, but hey, Dune did the same thing. Who cares? Almost everyone comes out of CinemaCon being like, wow, this looks great. And I saw a lot of the same things with Wicked. I just can't get over that trailer that dropped. Not a fan of the trailer. Didn't like how it looked. Am I interested in this movie? Absolutely, I am. Okay? My fiance and her sisters just creamed their pants over Wicked, the stage play, when they saw it. And so I'm in, okay? I am kind of in on this movie, at least from a pure curiosity standpoint. Do I actually think it'll be good? I really don't know. I am very hit or miss with the director, John M. Chu, as well. If you ask me, I think this is a few nominations below the line, and that's it. But who knows? Who knows? If this makes a fuck ton of money, which I actually do think it will, I'm going to have to consider it a little bit more. However, there is an alternate universe where this opens against Moana 2, which it is currently slated to, and Moana takes its lunch. Who knows? Who knows? Once again, you can convince me of things here, but as of now, I think it's some below the line text and nothing above the line. Samuel L. Jackson time. I don't have much to say about this. All I'll say is almost everybody is putting Samuel L. Jackson to win Best Supporting Actor for his role in The Piano Lesson, for which was a stage play. He's playing the same role. I believe he was nominated for a Tony. I'm not 100% sure if he won or not. Now, in terms of The Piano Lesson as an overall Oscar player, that I'm a bit unsure of. I've heard mixed things about the overall play and some of the individual performances, but Samuel L. Jackson is not one of those. I think it's smart. I honestly don't have much to say. I think it's smart. I'm going to trust people when they say that this is the role to win. It's Samuel L. Jackson. I know he has an honorary Oscar, I believe, but he should have a real one. Not that those aren't real, but you know what the fuck I mean. What to do with Blitz? I've mentioned Blitz a few times as I've talked about it here. Is this the Killers of the Flower Moon? Is this the Fablemans? Where everyone is like, here you go. Here are these nominations that feel guaranteed, but you will not win anything. I can absolutely see that. However, this feels less sure than Killers of the Flower Moon, than the Fablemans. Not only because obviously Spielberg and Scorsese are different than Steve McQueen, but I don't think Steve McQueen is this surefire Oscar thing. Not that it has to, okay? I'm talking strictly about Oscars. I'm so excited for this movie. But like Widows wasn't a thing at all, even though it probably should have been. But Blitz is like a war drama. So that is like right up the alley, isn't it? So I'm gonna kind of tend to agree with the consensus that this does feel like, outside of Dune Part 2, the safest pick. And then we'll see how it does if it just sputters out and wins nothing. But I don't blame people for that. But as mentioned, there can be a lot of movies that fall into this had Oscar buzz. I've seen Blitz actually thrown around a little bit, not that much. I've seen Conclave, the new film from Edward Berger, who did All Quiet on the Western Front, which stole Babylon's Oscar for score. Don't tell me to get over it. I never will. That feels like something like The Two Popes, a little bit more thriller-y, apparently. But people did really like the footage out of CinemaCon. But as I mentioned, you already know. I think Conclave could potentially be this had Oscar buzz. It could be nothing. It could be an awesome movie. I think The Apprentice certainly could be this had Oscar buzz. And Megalopolis, which brings me to Megalopolis. Let's talk about that a little bit further. This will be in competition at Cannes. We have seen and heard reports of people who have seen it, and no one wants to buy it right now. Now, maybe there's already a distributor lined up, or it's going to Cannes to hopefully get a distributor, or maybe they're keeping it a secret until after it premieres, which I know some movies have done that, outside of my personal excitement for it. And I love when I hear like a movie just goes fucking batshit and is crazy. I already read some of the reports. Seems wild. I hate to pull up the Babylon comparisons, but I mean, it does weirdly feel like a Babylon thing. I know Francis Ford Coppola is obviously different from a Damien Chazelle, even though Chazelle has a lot of Oscar success, obviously. Coppola is revered. He is insanely high respected, feels like one of the godfathers, no pun intended, of cinema, who is back, put his own money up for this movie. I think people want this to succeed, but I'm wary of it. As of now, I would not have it in Best Picture. I would have it in some text, but it would, I don't know. I'm really curious to see the reactions out of Cannes. But if it is anything like Babylon, then that means it's a 5-star masterpiece coming up. I could obviously keep going forever about some of these topics and just my own thoughts on them, but I wanted to keep it to 10 just to keep it somewhat concise, even though I fear this is a longer video. Let me know some of your called shots on these 2025 Oscar predictions. Some of my hot takes are not even said in this video. Some of the movies I just don't believe in, but some of them I might be higher on than most. So let me know what you all think, and eventually I will get to actual 2025 Oscar predictions. But for now, those are just some of my thoughts. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.